Guys, and welcome back to another episode of Earthen's Den. And in this episode, I want to talk to you guys very briefly about relationships and like the work and how everybody's always talking about like healing courses, and we're promoting therapy and all of these beautiful resources to help us become more emotionally intelligent and more self-aware in regards to our past, in regards to our triggers, in regards to the things that anger us, and overall just getting to understand us a little bit better. So one of the things that I realized is that most people definitely are not self-aware. And I think anytime you kind of step into a space where you are, they say the work is essentially asking yourself why. That's what I believe that the work is. That's what I personally feel like the inner work is. It's essentially asking yourself why. Why do I do this? Why when this person does this, I feel this way? Why when this happens, I do this? Why is it that I react this way? Why is it that you know what I mean? And so what I realized is whenever you venture out into that specific space, it is definitely a very seldom place. Like it's not a lot of people over there. It's not a lot of people who are in a space where they are, holding themselves accountable, acting with like loving and kind and compassion and all those things, because the thing is we don't really have an understanding of ourselves. I think it makes it really hard to kind of be in a relationship. I feel like the flip side of this, though, is, when we do have like this inner work and this self-teaching and all of this stuff going on, in a way, I think that it kind of creates this idea of like a perfect person, right? And so what I've realized with a lot of people is that when you are somebody who's like a little self-aware, you understand why you do what you do, but you don't yet have the resources to cope with that. Or, so let's say you realize that when this happens, you start to feel insecure. You don't necessarily know what to do when you're starting to feel insecure. And so what happens is your brain just kind of is like, okay, we're going to pull out this file here and we're going to react, right? Because this is what we do. This is how we feel. This is how we know to react. And so now I see why like therapy and certain self-help books can really help us to navigate that better, because when you don't know, you're just kind of reacting, right? But the flip side of that, though, is like you have this thing to where, depending on the person, I know for myself, it was almost like a nitpicky thing, like just picking myself apart one by one, right? And I think that right there can be very self-deprecating, because at the same time, it's like you still have to be building yourself up and being kind and gentle and patient with yourself while you're on that journey. I have to honestly say too, I've found with so many people look at you crazy if you are like somebody who's self-aware, if you're working on getting your stuff together, if you are, someone who's definitely not perfect, but you're trying to get it right, or, you're communicative in regards to the things that you've been through. It's like very rare. It's like you're like in a little bubble all by yourself, because it just seems as though like anytime you try to talk to people about those real, make that real connection with people, it just seems as though it's so superficial and like they have it all together. They can't relate. They're like, get over it, move on with your life. Like you can't and I believe that at the end of the day, I don't think that you should ever sit in pain. I don't think we should ever sit in trauma. I don't think that we should ever, sit in a space when it comes to like our healing work and we ask ourselves the why and we understand why we do what we do based on the things that we experienced as a child. I don't think we should ever sit in that space. I do think that we should find healthier solutions, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it just is like, it's a process. And I just think with so many people, it's like if you come out and you stand on these things and you speak about these things, it's almost like people try to make it seem like, you're throwing a pity party, or, you're just looking for validation, or you just need to move on, or there's just something wrong with you. You know what I mean? And so I guess what I wanted to say, just in this podcast episode is like, if you are somebody who's self-aware, you're understanding why you do certain things, and, you're dealing with people who are kind of like, just looking at you like you're the black sheep, like you're the only person who is going through certain things, that you're the only person who has, inner work or like an inner child or whatever. I will honestly say just, continue on your journey. It's not going to be perfect. I had to learn that for myself, honestly. Like you're never like when it comes to self-work, you guys, please hear me clearly. You're not going to reach a destination. Like there is no point in time where you're ever going to be like, you know what, I am so X, Y, and Z, because God did not create anybody to be perfect. But what you will find when you venture out on that journey is you'll have a better understanding of yourself, and you'll know you'll know yourself. You'll know what triggers you. You'll know what makes you feel insecure. You'll know what makes you feel happy. You'll know, you know what I mean? So the whole purpose of like inner work and inner child and all that is not to become this perfect person. But what it is for you to step into a space and have a better understanding of yourself, and so that you can just be happier and healthier, you know what I mean? And on your life path of like healing, and, you know, you'll know how to handle situations better because you're more self-aware of why you feel this way. And, you know, and I think that that's just like the main thing that I just want to share with everybody. And, there's nothing wrong with looking at resources. Just make sure you're discerning. I know a lot of people are kind of stepping into the business of like life coaching and things like that. And so that's beautiful. We definitely need more resources. A lot of people cannot afford therapy. So I know YouTube is probably like one of the greatest sources, you know, in regards to just getting that life advice. So there's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure you're discerning in regards to the people that you listen to. And just, you know, I'm learning for myself, like, just be patient with yourself. You know, just be patient on your journey. Be patient with yourself. There's no rush. There is no deadline. You know what I mean? And I'm really starting to really lean more into faith in regards to like what's meant to be will be. You know what I mean? So don't ever feel that way. I think another thing too about myself, when I have understanding of a person, it makes me so much more compassionate. And so if you are somebody who you don't really like to talk about certain things, or, you know, when you say, hey, man, I remember I went through that made me feel like this, like that was real, you know, and people kind of look at you like you're crazy or shy away from you or whatever. Just understand like that's just it, you know, just, hey, keep it pushing. You know what I mean? Like maybe that's not a safe place for you to kind of share that, but it's relevant. And, you know, just know at the end of the day, like when it comes to inner work, the goal is inner peace. Okay. The goal is inner peace. It's not, there's no perfect person, right? It's not for you to just be this, you know, that's just not what it is. You know what I mean? Like we all have our things, and it's those things that, right, like made us who we are. And now we can, like, you know, correct a little bit of, you know, things like that and just kind of move forward. I think another thing too, man, I say it all the time, but being born during this time, like we are living in such a revolutionary time, like from the technological advancements to just like, just everything. I mean, I think that's like probably one of the biggest things is like the digital space, but we are living in such revolutionary times. If you are like me, right, and if you are somebody who are just feeling the pressures of life and all of those things, I really feel as though because our ancestors did not have that same opportunity. I know for myself, I feel like the pressures of like making the right decision and doing the things the right way, because I just realized how, I'm not going to say, I just realized the situations and the circumstances and the things that were placed on my elders and my ancestors. And I realized the opportunities that I'm given now. I don't think that it's just coincidental. I don't take it for granted, and I really look into it. And so I'm very considerate of that. And so I'm learning like, hey, I definitely think a lot of pressure comes from that. But how I'm dealing with the pressure is just not moving so hastily and just taking my time to just like be, you know what I mean? Just taking my time with everything instead of just feeling like I have to go and do, you know what I mean? So yeah, just learning like that patience, learning how to be gentle with yourself. That's like the new season for me. Like I can honestly say like that's exactly where I'm at these days. Like, hey, and I definitely feel like in life too, it's like sometimes you really do have to take it day by day. Like, and just, hey, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. And I hope everybody has a great day.